come from Oob. She's able to take a lot of her pitches and then be able to change speeds on them, about 3 different speeds, which I think is going to be highly effective as she's facing this Lancers offense.
Second year with LU after transferring over from Louisiana. Had an injury-riddled season a year ago, but much healthier here in 2025. Batting order for the Lancers. Saturday and Sunday, the Lancers dipping back into Big South play. They will take on Gardner-Webb in a doubleheader on Saturday. Finish up the series on Sunday from Farmville. And Tyler Oob now ahead of the count, 1-2.
Knox had a great season at the plate for the Lancers.
She takes there for strike 3.
So they can get their bat there because it is that strong right now.
Yeah, hits in 4 of her last 5 games. Went 3 for 5 in the doubleheader against Virginia Tech last week. Had a double and an RBI. Those 2 games against the Hokies, the last 2 for the Lancers. They did not have a conference series this past weekend because there are an odd amount of teams in the Big South.
And, you know, going back to that series with the Hokies, that's another thing. Miller waiting on it, driving it to left center. That is really good to take those types of swings on a 3-2 count.
8th hit on the season for Miller, her first extra base hit that wasn't a home run. And now the Lancers try to bunt in a run with Maggie Hyatt, the DP. RBIs on the season. We'll see how they score it as it took an awkward hop over the glove of KK Madry, who is usually a very solid fielder known for her speed. And Liberty finds itself in an early pit. Ariana Guy, the catcher, at the plate, swings over the top for strike 1. By the way, Russell Heinrich behind the dish, calling balls and strikes. Dustin Price over at first. Linda Long at third. Well, after Carlin Pickens threw 78 miles per hour for Tennessee the other day, we understand why.
Oh, my goodness. Can you believe that? 78. Imagine being that catcher. Imagine being that hitter.
Yeah, that thumb's got to hurt for the catcher.
Absolutely.
Bailey Buchholz, freshman left fielder, 190 on the season. Oob trying to get out of this inning in the top half of the first inning. Now it's Morgan.
Start for Woodard right here, coming in as the leadoff batter. Looks like she took one of Strickland's pitches up a little bit, looked like a rise ball straight up the middle. That's what Liberty needs to do. Get runners on and let them do what they do best, which is let them run and advance.
Well, we know Dot Richardson is one of the fiery personalities in all of college softball. I'd imagine that she wasn't too entertained.
Throwing that ball, getting that movement that's curving across, it looks like a strike, and then it's ending off the plate. That was a big out for Longwood.
One in this game that we should remember throughout in case it stays close, and I know it's early, but right, Longwood trying to put together a good start, right? You have the 2 runs on the board, the crooked number. Now you want to make sure you limit Liberty to nothing.
Yes, yes. Be very careful. Glove, who's able to make plays happen and then be able to hit that ball across the infield. And for what their coach says, she does that very well.
All Big South first team selection a year ago. Runner goes, Woodard to second, tag applied, got her. Great throw from behind the dish from Guy, and the tag applied. And Longwood faces the minimum for LU in the bottom half of the first inning. Inning over here from Lynchburg. Remember, Liberty has won the last 6 meetings in blowout.
Has a lot of power, but right now they need the consistent hits.
Well, KK Madry is the one who's consistently getting on base. 426 average. Again, let's say that again. 426. Terrell, the second baseman, covering first. And I think you nailed it there. All KK Madry has to do is just put it in play. Doesn't have to be the perfect bunt.
And it's chaos.
Yeah.
It can be. But that's the great thing about softball is so much of the short game, and it's a quick-paced game.
So we're square at 2. Alexia Carrasquillo pops this one up. Nalea Bridges, the shortstop, has it 2 away. Carrasquillo now 11 for 25 in her debut season in college. By the way, Dorr gets an RBI on the fielder's choice. Madry scores an unearned run. That's how we're level here.
What we're seeing from Crane and probably from Dorr.
Well, I'm going to propose a question to you, and I think we understand the answer right now, right? Where's the hole in this Liberty lineup, right? It's probably with Paige Dorr right now, and obviously she has shown that she's very capable, hitting over 300 on the season. But once they get Dorr going, where is the gap in this lineup?
Exactly. There is no gap right now.
Gets its way in front. Let's find out if the Lancers have a response. Top of the order here with Sophia Knock, who struck out in the first inning.
This is probably the best thing possible right now for the Lancers, is to start at the top of their lineup, which they are right now. One swing from the Lancers can change this game.
Sack bunt here for Brooke Bennett, advancing Knock over to second.
Lancer's strategy right now is to get Knock, move around, advance her, try to get her in scoring position, which she is now. They only have one out, a lot of options they can do.
And they're very confident in this hitter right now, Avery Miller.
Was just stuck looking. I mean, that's all you can say. It just got her.
Tyler only had 16 strikeouts coming into today, 4 already after 3 in the first inning. Hoping to give the Flames some length today. Again, they don't really want to use Escobar. They don't want to put Yoder out there. Want them to rest up for conference play this weekend against the Miners of UTEP.
She hasn't had as many innings as some of these other.
More for Mississippi.
Getting behind in the count right now is a full advantage for Guy.
Guy tries to take advantage. Scooped up by Crane. Across the diamond it goes. And the Flames get out of the...
That she had earlier.
Rachel Roop, get this, the first player in the history of Conference USA. Keep in mind, there have been like, I don't know, 1 million teams in this conference over the years. Only player in the history of the conference to win Conference Player of the Week 3 straight weeks.
That has to be hard to do. But even from up here, watching it as far as we are away from the field, that was a hard throw that she threw to first base.
Well, they were talking as a staff. Coach Brown, Coach McNary, the assistant coach. Josie Epperson's the director of ops. And they were discussing, yeah, you know, Sophia's pretty good at first, but are we wasting her arm at first? Let's get her over to third.
I think that was a smart move.
Starting that, but could you make the argument you could hide a shortstop a little bit if you have a really good third baseman?
I don't know. That's a lot of ground to play. I mean, you got to think about it. Look how much they have to defend. That is a lot of dirt to defend out there. I'm not sure about that.
I've heard from a couple of coaches throughout college softball, because of all the different things that can happen down the third base line. You can have a hard hit ball behind the bag and a long throw. You can have a bunt down the third base line. Like, I can't imagine, as this one is sent a deep ways to right center field. Drake underneath it covers a lot of ground, hauls it in. Liberty easily scores the run as Roop comes in to score. Sacrifice fly for McManus, and it's a 4-2 advantage for the Flames.
That was still a great hit for McManus. Hitting the ball deep like that to right center allows for those runners to hold back. When you're pitching to a lefty who really is, I would say, a multi-threat. You know, Watley can hit the ball to the outfield. She can lay the ball down. She can slap. All of those things. It's a hard thing.
Madry swings, elevates this one to shallow right field. Bennett says, "I've got it." No advancement. As Watley retreats to first. So there you go. That's a good sign for Strickland.
Now batting for the Flames, number 7.
I think that just
field off the bat of Carrasquillo, but it hangs in the park just long enough for Bailey Buchholz. Couple of crooked innings now for LU. 3 in the second, 3 in the third, and it's a 4-run advantage for the Flames over the Lancers. Longwood trying to make sure things don't get away from them. All right. Change of plans.
I think our first assumption was correct.
So no more Oob. Instead, it is Paige Bachman, the senior from Fredericksburg, who will get the opportunity here with 2 runners on and nobody out in the 4th. So Bachman.
70s. And I will tell you, with somebody who throws that hard, a lot of times we're going to assume she's just going to be a rise ball pitcher. But she is actually has one of the probably best drop balls I have ever watched. Coming in, think about that, coming in high 60s, low 70s, throwing that ball down, that's just as effective as throwing a rise ball at the same speed.
She started learning the rise ball just last year.
It's going to cause those high fly balls. At the same time, when you throw the ball that hard and you hang it, that ball's probably going to go over the fence. Coming in, though, as an experienced pitcher is probably one of the best things right now for Liberty with bases loaded. Coming in, just throwing her game. But I will tell you, again, one swing of the bat. It's another thing, too, when you have a pitcher who throws the ball like Bachman does, making sure the defense is ready for that, because the ball is going to spin differently when it's hit off the bat. But we can't count Longwood out as well. They've challenged Liberty a lot tonight.
Avoid the traffic from the oncoming knock.
I think she was willing to take the hit to stop the ball. She did a great job with that. That was a quick pop-up for her. Seeing the ball went up, popped up her mask really fast.
Sophia, get out of the way!
I don't think it was going to matter. She was going to let that ball out of her glove. To deal with any of those, you know, 15, 16 years ago. Very different.
Now, Dot Richardson has reached into the transfer portal this year, bringing on a couple of players from Oregon State, Watley and Dorr. Not afraid to do it. Savannah Woodard a few years ago. Flown out to right off the bat of Roop. And Rachel is now 1 for 3. Infield single and score game, but it could have been worse. Tyler Oove, similar story for the Flames. What have you thought of our game so far here?
I've enjoyed it. I really have. It's been a lot of fun to watch the pitchers, but also the hitters too. You know, coming into this game, I said this at the beginning, you look at the records, but I really think the confidence booster for both teams. You know, watching the Lancers come out at the beginning of the game and just swinging. I mean, they took some hard hits up there. But at the same time, Liberty's pitching staff is very versatile. There's a lot of versatility with them. All of their pitchers throw something different, different speeds, and they really just work very well together. The last thing you want is a pitching staff with a bunch of
pedagogy. So she said this really gave her an edge in coaching, trying to keep up with every little thing that she could. That sport pedagogy, she's able to not only break down coaching, but make sure it translates to the players. The biomechanics, I mean, we study launch angle and the movements. It all comes into play. This has all made her a better coach. She said she started in elementary school.
That's another thing. When you get ahead in the count and you get 1 or 2 strikes on a batter, that gives you the ability to move the ball around a little bit more than having to throw the ball down the middle or closer to the plate.
And ahead here, 1-2.
We've also watched Longwood's defense play very well behind both pitchers tonight. You can just throw underhand and throw the ball, but there's a difference in that, in pitching the ball and having that strategy. And from what I have watched tonight, Longwood came into this game with very good strategy all around.
Well, again, you look at the record, right? It's on your screen. You understand that it's not been the best start for Longwood. Again, only 2 home games. But you go back to Landry's 2.5 home plate to first.
Matthew did so good laying
In the table.
The goal is to do the best you can. It's a tough one to defend. You have Bennett running from right field. You have Terrell running over. You know, you have the lights right there playing a night game. It can be really hard to try to read the ball, see where it's going, you know, and what we saw right there was an error, missed it, and allowed a run to score.
You want the right fielder there to call everybody off, take charge?
You know, sometimes
This to left. Hangs up for Buchholz, dives, makes the catch to save the game for now. Hydorn comes in to score. Norris stays at second. It's a sacrifice fly for Woodard. RBI number 27 on the season. And the Flames are one run closer to ending the game.
big play right there for Buchholz. You do not want to let that ball.
Tacos and you're making me hungry.
I just wish you went opposite field of right there with that pitch.
Yeah, start saying that so I don't get hungry.
It's almost over.
To 6-22 conference play in the Big South for them after this game against the Flames. That'll do it for us. For Tori Boyd, Dana Howard, our producer Andy Corey, and our entire crew, Corey Spector saying so long from Camp Vice Field at Liberty Softball Stadium. The final score, Liberty 9, Longwood 2. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on the ESPN family of networks, download